Yo, what's up guys? So today we are gonna see, what if Naruto is born with a 400-year-old ultimate bloodline, part 1. Hope you'll enjoy this video. So before we start, go check out the author of this fanfic, QBX. Link is in the description, and also subscribe to my channel, and like this video. Let's begin the video. Konoha Village, considered to be the most powerful ninja country in the Fire Country. Not only do some of the most talented that resided within it, the two most commonly known would be the Hyugas and the Uchihas. However, there was one other clan in the village that possessed a bloodline limit. However, unlike the Hyugas and the Uchihas, this clan's bloodline limit didn't come out from the use of special eyes. This bloodline limit was much more unique. However, the clan's existence came about long before Konoha was ever created. In fact, the clan itself came into existence 400 years before the founding of the village hidden in the leaves. On the day that the Kyuubi attacked, there were only 4 members of the family left, 3 men and 1 woman. The rest of the family had been killed in a mysterious fire that took them while they slept. These 4 had not been with the family at the manor at the time. They had all been out on missions. For of the clan left the woman who was on the verge of giving her child birth, and went out to try, and by some time for the 4th Hokage to make it to the front lines. The 3 men who had gone into battle died heroically buying as much time as they could before the other ninja of the village arrived. And, as for the woman, well, the woman died giving birth to the one that would become the sole survivor of her clan. And so, she grasped the hand of the man she loved, and begged him to give him a name worthy of her clan whose bloodline limit was a mystery even to the leaders of the village present and past. And so, the 4th Hokage of Konoha let his tears fall, as his wife left the world. He looked at the crying child, and said, 4th sealed the Kyuubi into his son, the sole survivor of a clan whose power was a mystery that would not be known until 6 years later. 6 years later, Uzumaki Naruto was hated, he was given cold glares, and was cursed by everyone who laid eyes upon him. However, on this fateful day, Uzumaki Naruto was about to experience something and put on his underwear and pants when suddenly a horrible pain shot through his back. Naruto let out a surprised cry, and fell to his knees, as the pain began to grow strong. My name is Gabriel, the archangel of the heavens. You will soon fall into slumber, but when you awaken, I for the sake of everyone you will come to love. And with those words, Naruto's world went black. As this turn of events was being set into motion, a guard who was on patrol of the area heard the blood-curdling scream, and rushed towards the source of the noise. When the guard peeked through the window, her eyes went wide at the sight she saw. For he saw the Kyuubi killers flying everywhere. She watched in a mixture of wonder and confusion, as the boy seared, and she quietly entered the house. She cautiously crept up to the boy, and the guard picked the boy up in her arms gently, and rushed towards the Hokage Manor. At the Hokage Manor, the guard was rushed right into the 3rd's office upon the sight of the boy in her situation, and what she saw to the 3rd. The 3rd was quiet for some time before speaking to them. Anko, do you know who this boy is? She replied that she did, and explained that he was the container of the Kyuubi, and the only one holding the demon back from destroying the village. The 3rd paced a little bit before turning to the woman again who was setting the boy. Anko blinked a few times before replying that she of course lived alone. The 3rd nodded again, and began to pace back and forth again. Anko, would you be willing to say that Anko was startled was an understatement? Why was he asking this of her? She began to think, and came to the realization that he was asking her to do this in order to keep. Or are you simply doing this to cover up what I saw, Hokage-sama? Anko asked, trying to remain polite. The 3rd thought for a moment before speaking. That is one reason, but the more important reason is that Naruto needs someone to protect him from the villagers who have been blinded by. I realize that you loved Orochimaru, and I also realize that you have come to hate him because of his betrayal, but I believe that this would be a good move for the both of you. So Anko must be raised to help pay for his needs, and such things. Anko bit her lip, she mulled over her thoughts, and then looked down at the sleeping boy. Which she decided was a mistake, hesitantly agreed, and signed the papers to become the official guardian of Uzumaki Naruto. When the boy woke up, he looked to his right, and saw the Hokage looking at him. The Hokage Gabriel, and then he explained that Gabriel told him that he would see him again soon. The wounds were being healed by the Kyuubi. The 3rd then quietly asked Naruto to put his shirt back, at the 3rd crying out the word yes over and over again. Anko took this as her cue. He turned to her. As soon as he set eyes upon her, his eyes went as wide as dinner plates, and he asked her if she was going to be his big sister. She could feel a tugging and smiled softly, as he watched Anko's eyes soften, and she wrapped her arms around him gently, but he knew in the end that this would be the best for both of them. He then instructed them to go gather all of Naruto's things, and to get moved into her home. They nodded and left. The third waited until they were gone before thinking about the tattoo on the boy's back. Indeed, he had a lot of research to do, because for some reason, it all seemed far too familiar. He raised his hands in a pathetic attempt at defense, waiting to get hit. Enko blinked before realization hit her, and she knew that the boy thought she was angry at him, and not the villagers. She stepped up to him, and got on one knee, her heart tugging again when she saw him shake. "Never going to hurt you, and I'm never going to let them hurt you ever again." Enko blinked away at Orochimaru's betrayal. So she just silently rubbed the boy's back, as he shed more tears into her vest. Eventually she stopped, and decided that Naruto shouldn't live with what he had, so she declared that they were going to the marketplace to buy him new things. Enko told him to grab only the things he absolutely needed that they couldn't buy, and to meet her outside. He picked up an old bag, and began to put some things the Hokage gave him, when he heard a voice that made him jump. "Naruto, do you remember who I am?" Naruto spun on his heel. Naruto asked in a timid voice. The glowing person smiled, and said, "That's right, Naruto, very good. Now listen to me, the reason that you can see me is because it's part of something you have that is very special, and that is called a bloodline limit. I will explain it more to you later, but for now all you need to know is that if you wish to become a strong ninja, look at moving, she'll get impatient. I'll talk with you later tonight, Naruto." And with that being said, Gabriel disappeared, leaving a very small Naruto slightly confused. He then remembered his task, and stuffed a few things into his bag before rushing out to Enko, who gave him a smile, and put her hand on his back, leading him towards the marketplace. After about 2 hours of shopping, and 6 bags full of things later, Enko and Naruto stopped at the Ichiraku ramen stand for some lunch. They sat down, and a girl just a little bit older than Naruto came up, and asked for their orders. At first Enko thought she was seeing things, but then she noticed that the girl kept looking at Naruto, and blushing. The first thing that popped into Enko's mind was that just like her, this girl liked her guys young. After they had finished eating, Enko nudged Naruto in the side with her elbow, and told Naruto to introduce himself to her. Naruto didn't understand why, but he decided that he needed to respect his new sister, so he waved at the girl to get her attention. "Do you need something else?" the girl asked sweetly, and Naruto just shook his head before sticking out his hand, and saying, "My name's Naruto." "What's yours?" The girl blushed slightly before saying, "My name's I am Naruto-kun." Naruto blushed at the addition to his name, and then told her he would see her around before running to catch up with a smiling Enko. And so with bags in hand they walked back to Enko's house. When they arrived, Naruto was surprised to see that the house was 2 stories high. He looked up at Enko, and said, "Your house is really big." Enko smiled sadly at the boy, and told him that another person used to live in this house, but that he became a bad person, and left the village. To her surprise, the boy hugged her, and told him that she was sorry that her friend left. And once again Enko felt her eyes filling up with tears at the kindness of the boy clinging to her leg. It disgusted her that the villagers didn't get to know him better, but she decided that she was going to change all of that. They entered the home, and Enko showed him to a room that would become his. She then put the bags down on his bed, and showed him around her house. When they arrived in the dojo that was in the back, Naruto looked at Enko with fierce determination in his eyes that almost startled the woman. "What's wrong with Naruto-kun?" she asked, and Naruto simply replied that he wanted her to train him to become a strong ninja. She smirked, feeling her fiery spirit rising up, and told him to go put his stuff away, and then she would show him some basic things. His eyes lighted up, and he then bowed to her before running towards his new room. Enko chuckled to herself, thinking about how much that boy reminded her of herself when she was his age. About 10 minutes later, Naruto came down in some of his new clothes, which included a new pair of sandals, a pair of baggy black shorts, and a fishnet undershirt. Enko grinned because she forgot to explain that the fishnet shirts were undershirts, but she decided that she could explain it to him later. For now, the clothes he was wearing would be perfect for their training. Enko ordered Naruto to sit down, and she began to circle him, and she said, "Pay attention to jutsus, and the such. However, everyone only has a certain amount of chakra, and if you run out you die. Do you understand so far?" Naruto thought for a few moments before deciding he understood, and nodded his head. Enko smiled, and continued her start on that. "I want to explain a few more things. First of all, Most people I cannot explain to you at this time why you have a second chakra system, so please don't ask me. One day when you are older I will be able to tell you, but that time has not yet come. The last thing I want to teach you today before we work on chakra controlling is the 4 different forms you need to know to be a ninja. The first one is ninjutsu, the most commonly used ninja skill. You use ninjutsu by using your chakra as a weapon. The second form is using your chakra to create illusions that confuse your enemy and leave them vulnerable to attack. The third form is taijutsu, which is hand-to-hand combat skills, something every ninja must have. And finally it is very dangerous because it involves situations. Do you have a basic understanding of the 4 forms of ninja fighting? Naruto that he thought he understood most of it. Anko grinned, thinking that this kid was pretty smart for his age. She then declared that he was going to learn chakra training by focusing his chakra into his feet, and then walking up the dojo's wall. Anko then spent a good going to go prepare dinner, and would come back to check on his progress when dinner was ready. She back up and try again. She then walked to the kitchen to prepare dinner. She came back to the dojo about 3 hours later, and poked her head in, and her eyes went wide when she saw that Naruto wasn't in there. She felt her heartbeat quicken, thinking that someone had come into her home and snatched him, but then she heard stifled giggling. She looked straight up and gasped to see Naruto standing on the ceiling looking down at her. She noticed all the bruises and scrapes on his body, but she was still speechless that Naruto had completed the task so quickly. He came down from the wall, and she hugged him gently, letting him know that she was not only satisfied with his performance, but she was also amazed. Naruto gave her a big smile, which made Anko smile a little herself. After much complaining that the main course was not ramen, Anko and Naruto enjoyed a nice grill, washed them without being asked to. Anko smiled at the polite boy and took the time to snit later, but for now she had a new exercise that she wanted him to do. When they walked into the dojo, Naruto saw some metal plates lying on the ground. The last exercise you did is the same one you will be doing now, however this time, the task will be much harder with the addition of these training weights. Anko explained, and Naruto put on the weights, and complained about the heaviness of them. Anko grinned at him, and told him she would teach him if he completed the task before she called him to bed in 3 hours. She knew that the task would be impossible, but she also knew that if he strived as hard as he could, he would become much stronger and have better chakra control than some modern-day genins had. This time when she heard him try to climb, only to fall, she smiled to herself. When the time had come for bed, Anko walked back into the room and gasped again when she didn't see Naruto. She looked straight up and saw his grinning face. She watched as his eyes went wide, and she gasped as he lost his footing and began to fall. She rushed forward and caught him before he could hit the ground. He had tears in his eyes and told her that he had failed her because he couldn't hold it very well. She simply hugged the boy and told him that he had just done a task that should have been impossible, and she demanded to know how he did it so quickly. He told her it was because he wanted to learn something new. She smiled at his competitive attitude and told him that for his hard work she would teach him how to do the basic Bunshin no. And so for the next hour, Anko collapsed from chakra exhaustion, and Anko picked the small boy up and took him to his room and placed him in his bed after taking off his sandals. She smiled at him and whispered, "Good night, my dear brother," before turning out the light and walking out of the room. While Naruto slept, Gabriel came to him and entered into his subconscious. Naruto saw Gabriel and ran up to him. "Hello, Gabriel-san," Naruto said, "told you about earlier. One thing that Anko-chan didn't tell you is that some very special people have a bloodline limit that is passed down from generation to generation. You are one of the clan's history. Your clan came into existence about 400 years before Konoha was created. Your ancestor was on the verge of death and cried out for help. He found favor in the eyes of my lord, and I was sent down to aid him. From that day on, your family's legacy would continue on with the angels of the Lord. However, only about 4 members of your family survived, including your mother. You other 3 family members were killed during the attack of the Kyuubi, and your mother died in giving birth to you." Gabriel paused, letting the information sink in before continuing. "And now on to what exactly your bloodline limit is. For one, if you focus your chakra into your back, you can summon and retract a pair of large white wings that you can use to fly. And finally, the most important amounts. However, you will not be able to summon us. We will only be able to come to you in your greatest times of need. However, If you ever need to talk to us, all you have to do is pray to summon us. Now, as to how we are summoned. As you grow in strength, intelligence, and strength of spirit, you will get more and more tattoos that will appear on your back. When you are in trouble, we will come down and merge with your body via the tattoos, and we will exit the same way. These tattoos are a gateway for us to come and go as we see fit. Do you understand all I have taught you, Naruto-kun? Naruto nodded his head as he continued to digest the information. Tomorrow, when you have some free time to get every tattoo, the more you get, the harder they become to obtain. Have a good night, Naruto-kun, see you tomorrow. And when it was all said and done, Naruto had a spiral tattoo on his back. When Naruto woke up, Anko had a breakfast of eggs and toast with some bacon on the table. After they had finished eating, Anko told Naruto that she had to go do some patrol work and that she would be back. In the meantime, she told Naruto to perfect his weight exercise and to continue to wear the weights while he did 10 push-ups and 10 sit-ups and then ran around the dojo 10 times. She also told him that every time the exercise became too easy that he needed to do 10 more of each exercise, along with anything else that she gave him to do. And so, this kind of training went on for 5 years. Along with the training physically, Anko would send Naruto to the lab. And so when it was all said and done, Anko realized that there was something that Naruto desperately needed. Naruto was enrolled into the Ninja Academy. Anko told Naruto to behave him into the academy. She turned and saw the mothers of the students glaring at her. She smirked and returned a glare back, fueling it with killer intent that told them not to mess with her brother. And so she went to the Hokage's office because she had been summoned for an important meeting. When Naruto walked into the classroom, everyone stopped talking and stared at him, making him quite nervous. Iruka cleared his throat and told the class that this was a new word and said, "My full name is Uzumaki Mitarashi Naruto. Mitarashi adopted me and is my adoptive sister. I am 12 years old and have been going through her training since I was 6 years old. So that is why I am in a graduating class for my first year. I like training and getting stronger, and I also have a special bloodline limit. However, that is information that I don't give to very many people." Naruto looked at Iruka to let him know that he was finished, and Iruka was impressed. "Okay, Naruto, please take the available seat in the top corner by those two. Their names are Shikamaru and Choji." Naruto nodded and walked up the steps and shook both of their hands. He then sat down and smiled. He was beginning to think that he was going to make lots of friends here. Naruto walked along the grounds of the academy watching everyone as they ate lies. He walked over and asked if he could sit with them. Shikamaru told him it was okay, and so he sat down. "So, I already know about Shikamaru and Choji, but I was hoping to learn a little bit more about my classmates," Naruto said, watching the other boys curiously. "Well, I'll start since no one else seems eager. My clan specializes in using dogs with their ninjutsu," Kiba said, as the next boy went straight into his short speech. "My name is Abirame Shino. My clan specializes in using bugs with their ninjutsu, and it's nice to meet you." When Shino was done, the third boy spoke up. "My name is Uchiha Sasuke. I am the sole survivor of my clan and, as you, hold the power of a bloodline limit which I hope to have activated soon. My goal is to become powerful enough to kill a certain man." Naruto scowled at the boy's attitude, seeing as how he was in the same boat, but wasn't power hungry to kill the man. Naruto then stated that it was nice to meet them all, and that he looked forward to being their friends, but he wanted to go and meet the girls. The guys all groaned, but decided that Naruto needed to learn from himself what the girls were like. Two of the girls, a pink-haired one and a blonde-haired one, looked up at him and asked him what he wanted. The other girl, who had blue hair and white eyes, just looked at the ground and didn't speak. Naruto gave a soft smile and said that he just wanted to get to know the people in the academy and make some friends. The girls eyed each other before inviting him to sit. Naruto waited for them to tell him about themselves. He watched as the blonde decided to start. "My name is Yamanaka Ino. I like Sasuke-kun, and I love to work with my parents at their flower shop." After the blonde was finished, the pink-haired girl spoke up and said, "My name is Haruno Sakura. I also like Sasuke-kun and am Ino's friend and rival in every way." Naruto then looked at the blue-haired girl and waited for her to speak. "My name is Hyugahai Hinata. My family has a bloodline like yours." Naruto then smiled and shook their hands and told them that it was nice to meet them and that he looked forward to being their friends as well. The girls watched him walk away, and decided that he was a very nice person, and that they would look forward to being his friend, as well. Before Naruto could go and meet more people, the bell rang, and it was time to head back to class. Naruto finished the sandwich Anko had made him, and walked back into the building. When they all sat down, Irika announced that today was a sparring day, and that the fighting would begin once they all got to the training grounds. So one by one, everyone stepped outside, and the first match was called for. Uchiha Sasuke vs Uzumaki Mitarashi Naruto. Silently both kids walked out to the ring, and got into their fighting stances. Naruto nodded to Sasuke, and said, "Don't hold back, because I'm not going to, and I hope that there will be no hard feelings amongst us no matter who wins." To which Sasuke smirked, and agreed, feeling fully confident that Naruto wouldn't be able to touch him. As Irika waved his hand, and yelled out to begin. Naruto lowered both his hands, and let them dangle by his sides. Sasuke growled, and rushed forward, and reached out to punch the boy. When Sasuke's fist connected with Naruto's, something strange happened. Sasuke let out a surprised cry of pain, as a cut appeared on his left arm. Sasuke tried, and tried again to hit the boy, but it only resulted in more cuts. Sasuke finally jumped back panting, and cursing under his breath, unable to discover what was going on. The rest of the crowd just stood there in awe the whole time, wasn't even going to break a sweat, defeating who was looking like he would become the Rookie of the Year. Irika realized this wouldn't have worked long on most ninjas, but he also realized that he had not yet done a lesson on, so Sasuke didn't know what was going on. Sasuke finally had enough, and performed Gakakyu no Jutsu, which had enough power to defuse them, but it also left Sasuke very drained of chakra, and thus very tired. Naruto Sasuke whispered out his surrender, and Naruto drew back the kunai, and walked back to the class, as if nothing had happened. Sasuke growled at the fact that he had been humiliated, and everyone else just gaped at the level of skill Naruto already had. The rest of the battles ended with Ino defeating Hinata, Shino defeating Choji, Shikamaru defeating Sako. Was waiting for Naruto to come out of the academy, and she watched, one by one, as the students walked out, and left until no one came out. Anko got nervous, and was okay. When she stopped at the door, she saw Irika talking with Naruto, and thought he had gotten into trouble. She opened the door, and sent Naruto a glare that said if he simply explained that Naruto had defeated Sasuke without any effort at all, and was amazed at Naruto's skill. Anko stuck out her tongue a little bit, and said that she had worked Naruto very hard to get where he was today. The conversation ended with Irika telling Anko that she should be proud of Naruto, and Anko walking out to head towards home. "How was your meeting with the Hokage, and your day today is?" Naruto asked, looking up at the older woman. She smiled at him, and told him that she was going to be receiving training from a very special man for the next week or so to prepare her to take the exam to become a. Naruto hugged his sis, and exclaimed that she was the coolest, and joining them for dinner tonight. Naruto smiled at Anko, and when they arrived at the house, he went to the dojo to do his training. Anko smiled at him, and went off to the kitchen to prepare, leaning against the wall. "Hello Naruto-kun, please close the door behind you." Naruto complied, and then walked up to Gabriel, looking at him with curious eyes because he hadn't known that Gabriel was going to show up today. "Tell me Naruto-kun, how many tattoos do you know you have?" Gabriel asked, smiling at the boy. Naruto thought for a moment before answering, 9 tattoos, Gabriel-sensei." Gabriel stopped leaning against the wall, and looked straight into Naruto's eyes. "I have brought 2 things for you today, Naruto-kun, and you must take care of these things, for they have been in your family for many years, and were always worn by the leader of the clan." Gabriel snapped his fingers, and a large golden box appeared at their feet. Gabriel opened up the box, and heard Gabriel pull something out of the box. Naruto's muscles tensed, as he felt Gabriel come up behind him. Gabriel instructed Naruto to take off the weights he was wearing. Naruto did so quietly, and almost jumped when Gabriel took his arm, and slid it through cloth. Gabriel did the same to his other arm, and draped the mysterious cloth over Naruto's shoulders. Naruto could tell that it was a kimono by the length that hit his ankles, but he dared not look until Gabriel told him it was okay. Gabriel then stepped around to face Naruto, and silently tied the kimono across Naruto's waist. He then stepped back behind Naruto, and picked up the last object, and told Naruto to turn, and to go down on one knee. Naruto did, as he was told, and looked up to see Gabriel holding what appeared to be a golden handle to a sword with no blade. "Uzumaki Naruto, The kimono you are now wearing was made by the angels in heaven for your clan. It never gets dirty. It cannot be destroyed. It is made out of a material softer than any on this planet, and that it had the unique ability to become any weight the user wished it to become just by thinking about it. This sword I gave to the first leader of your clan, and proceeded to hand it down to every leader since, and today, I hand it to you, Uzumaki Naruto. You are the last of your kind. I pray that you use this weapon to protect those you love, and that one day I would have the honor to pass down this kimono and sword down to your children when you leave this world. Gabriel then proceeded to offer Naruto the sword with no blade. Naruto gently reached out and grasped the handle of the sword, and found it to be surprisingly light. Gabriel-sensei, forgive me for asking, but what use is a sword with no blade? Naruto asked, looking confusedly into Gabriel's eyes. Gabriel told him to rise to his feet, and Naruto did so. Naruto-kun, I want you to think about fire. I want you to think as hard as you can about fire. Imagine fire burning deep inside of you. Naruto scowled, but did, as he was told, and almost dropped the handle, as a blade of fire erupted from it. Naruto lifted the sword up in awe, and watched the fire burn. This is my blade of fire, Naruto. Use it to protect those you love. Your kimono is pure white with golden feathers on it. There is only one more step for you, Naruto-kun. When you receive your 10th and final tattoo, your wings will turn gold, and will be stronger than steel. Now go to Naruto, and remember I along with all my friends are only a prayer away, and also, to deactivate the fire, just think about extinguishing it in your mind. With that, Naruto practiced activating and deactivating his sword before running out to show Anko. When he got into the kitchen, Anko turned and looked at him with wide eyes. Naruto explained all that had happened between himself, and gave a warrior ninja for his clan. Anko hugged Naruto, and saw the sword in his hands, and blinked. Naruto looked down at the sword, and grinned at Anko before saying, "Gasp," as the blade of fire burst into life. As Anko finished preparing dinner, Naruto explained all the things that made the kimono special. Anko listened happily, as her little brother explained all about it, and was slightly startled when she heard a knock at the door. She looked up at the clock, and her eyes widened when she thought, "Oh my god, he's early, A/N. Guess who?" He. Anko asked Naruto to answer the door for her, and told him that it was their guest, and to be respectful. Naruto and nose, and saw that his headband covered one eye. The man looked down at Naruto. Naruto smiled at the man, and said, "Nope, I'm Uzumaki Mitarashi Naruto," and showed him into the living room where he told the man to sit. "So what's your name?" "My name is Hitaki Kakashi, and I'm going to be the one training your sister to become strong." Naruto eyed the man wearily before smiling again, deciding that he liked the man in front of him. Anko then stepped into the room, and bowed to Kakashi slightly, and blushed a bit, as she told them that dinner was ready. Kakashi thought that Anko wasn't going to be blushing at him after he was done training her, and so, all three of them walked to the dinner table. When they all sat down, Naruto asked if he could pray. Hitaki looked slightly surprised that a ninja trainee would believe in God, and Anko smiled, and told him that it was fine. Naruto said his prayer, and then Anko and Kakashi said, "Amen," to be respectful. Kakashi quietly removed his mask, and noticed that Naruto and Anko were staring at him. "Is something on my face?" Kakashi asked while watching the two curiously. Naruto was thinking that Kakashi was a good-looking guy, and didn't understand why he covered his face with a mask. Anko was thinking more along the lines of how gorgeous the man in front of her was. The two quickly shook their heads, and proceeded to go about eating the nice dinner of fish, rice, and corn. After dinner, Anko told Naruto that he was free to go do whatever he wanted so that she could talk to Kakashi about their training. Naruto declared that he was going out to the library, and Anko called out for him to be home by 9 p.m. Naruto walked out of the house, and found a place on the kimono where his sword was meant to be placed. He clasped the handle into the clip on the side of the kimono's belt on his left side, and he walked down the street towards the library. He noticed the cold glares that villagers were giving him, but he just shrugged it off, and continued along the path towards the library. When he passed by the bar, he heard a slurred voice command for him to stop. He just kept walking, but was stopped when the source of the voice appeared in front of him. "Hey you little demon, I was talking to you, you should show respect to your elders." Naruto held down a growl, and told that man that he was drunk, and that he should go sleep it off so that he would feel better. Naruto meant no ill feelings towards the man from the comment, but Naruto caught the man's fist in his hand, and held it tightly. The man continued to struggle, and used to bring his other hand into a fist, and tried to punch Naruto in the kidney. Naruto reached out with his other hand, and caught the punch, grasping the man's other fist, as well. "Please, sir. I don't want to fight you. I'm just trying to go to the library." Naruto cried out in despair, hoping that someone would come and take the man away, but he just saw that the villagers were just going to stand there and watch him. Naruto knew that he could hurt the man because it would be wrong. Naruto let the man's hands go and let the man beat him up. By the time it was over, Naruto got to his feet a bloody mess and watched the man walk away satisfied. The others murmured how the demon didn't even try to fight back, and began to wonder if this boy was even a demon at all. Naruto decided that he couldn't go to the library looking like this, so he limped back to his home. When he stepped into the house, Anko gasped and ran to him, and Kakashi just looked at the boy wondering what happened. He stood to his feet and walked up to them. "It's okay, sis, the man was drunk, and it wouldn't have been right to hurt him in his state, and no one else wanted to stop him, so I let him hit me until he was satisfied." Anko grasped the boy and hugged him tightly, telling him he was stupid for showing such compassion to such close-minded people. "Does this happen often?" Kakashi asked, and Anko replied that it happened every once in a while, but not often. Kakashi's only visible eye showed deep sadness at the thought of this young man being beaten this bad at an earlier age. Naruto excused himself to his room, and Anko watched him go worriedly. Kakashi walked up to Anko and whispered, "Does he know about the Kyuubi yet?" She looked at him and nodded, telling him that she told him on his 11th birthday when a village threw a bottle which cut his head when it hit. Kakashi asked how he reacted, and Anko explained that he cried for a while, but realized that he held the burden in order to protect the village, and he did so with honor. Kakashi then told Anko to go and check on him, and that training would begin tomorrow at 7 o'clock sharp, and that she shouldn't be late. Kakashi then excused himself. "Door," she gasped, as she watched golden feathers floating everywhere in the room. She looked to Naruto at his back, and saw a 10th tattoo on his back, and she knew that the process was complete. Hugged her back, and told her that his compassion for that man activated the last tattoo. She nodded quietly, and they just stayed there hugging each other until they both fell asleep. Anko woke up, and looked at the clock, seeing that it was 6:30 a.m. She kissed him so he could get up like he normally did. She then went to her room to take a quick shower, and got dressed. She left the home, and arrived at the training site with 2 minutes to spare. Needless to say, she ended up waiting for 2 hours before he finally arrived. About 4 months later, Anko had been promoted by unanimous decision to become a member of the Leaf. On this very day, Anko was to begin her duties, and Naruto was going to take the Genin test. Anko walked Naruto to school, and gave him a kiss on his forehead before wishing him luck, and disappearing in a whirlwind of leaves. Naruto entered the classroom full of confidence, and sat down with his friends. One by one the students were called into the back room, and one by one they left. Finally, at the end of the list, Naruto was called in. He smiled at Iruka before bowing. Iruka nodded his head, and told Naruto that his task was to create 3 shadow clones. Naruto performed the technique, and was given his headband. He tied it to his forehead, and stepped back. The students were then told that there was a tie amongst who would become Rookie of the Year. Naruto waved. Sasuke grunted in agreement, and the spot was given to Shino, who didn't care one way or student, and Hinata, who had the lowest range in the class. They were placed in a room. He passed. Naruto bit his lip, as he began to suspect that he knew who his teacher was. Kiba looked over at Naruto, and asked if Naruto knew something. Naruto simply said, "He'll be here in 3, 2, 1, and with that none other than Kakashi stepped into the room. He simply said to meet him on the roof, and disappeared in a puff of smoke. Naruto and Kiba grumbled about their tardy sensei, and Hinata simply giggled, having long since lost her shyness around the boys. And so, they all picked themselves up, and made their way to the roof. When they got to the top they saw Kakashi waiting for them, and they all sat down quietly, and waited for him to speak. "Well, let's get I'll go first. My name is Hatake Kakashi. My dreams are none of your concern." She disappeared in a puff of smoke, and the team decided to go to the Ichiraku ramen stand for lunch. Ayame and Naruto had become close friends since that day they had met 6 years ago, and Ayame had a big smile upon her face when she saw the headband on Naruto's forehead. She rushed out from behind the counter, hugged him, squealing that he did it, and he had become a ninja. He hugged her back, and blushed when she placed a kiss on his cheek, and told him it was his reward for all his hard work. Kiba and Hinata laughed at Naruto's embarrassment, as they all sat down and ate. When Naruto left the ramen stand, he went back to his home, and went into his bedroom. He pulled out a box which contained scrolls of various shapes and sizes. He pulled one out, and began to work on a new thing that he had come up with. He got so involved with his work that he did not notice when Enko came into his room, and walked up to his bed. She wrapped her arms around him, and felt him go rigid. She smirked, and said, "How did you become a genin when you don't even realize when someone has come into your room?" Her smirk dropped into a smile when she felt Naruto. She smiled, as she pulled him into a bigger hug out of congratulations. Naruto smiled at Enko, and decided that life truly was good. Little did he know what was in store for him tomorrow. Naruto woke up bright and early, and hopped into the shower. He chose to take a cold shower to wake himself up, and when he was done he used a small fire to dry himself off without the use of a towel. He put on a pair of hazy gray shorts, and put on one of his fishnet undershirts. He then quietly wrapped the pure white and golden kimono around his body, tying it down firmly. He picked up his headband, and looked. He felt a presence fill the room, but when he opened his eyes he saw an angel that looked nothing like Gabriel. "Who are you?" Naruto asked in a confused voice, as the angel bowed to him. "My name is Tobias. I am second in command to Gabriel, and I'm your guardian angel. All that simply means is that in your times of great need, I will be the first to aid you because it is my job to constantly watch you." Naruto gave a respectful bow to the angel, and asked him a simple question. "Do you think that I could get some of the material that made my kimono to create my headband with?" The angel named Tobias smiled before reaching, "But don't ever lose heart, I'm always watching out for you." And with that the angel disappeared. Naruto grinned, deciding that he liked his guardian angel, although he felt uncomfortable with the title Naruto-sama, but he would deal with that later. For now he attached the metal plate with Konoha's symbol on it to the white cloth, and placed it around his forehead. Naruto smiled big, and then put the cereal and milk away before grabbing his kunai pouch and strapping it to his belt on the right side, and his sword in the left clip, walking out the door and making sure to lock it up. As he walked down the street he decided to add 15 pounds to his kimono, putting it at the weight of 115 pounds, which was already much more than he weighed. He wanted to groan, as he had to force his feet into steps to keep them from dragging. He hated the weight, but he knew that it was making him stronger and faster. And so he arrived at the bridge a half hour early, only to find Kiba and Hinata already there, and it appeared that they were far too close for normal contact. Naruto immediately hid his chakra presence and dove into the bushes to watch them. He saw Kiba whisper something to Hinata which made her blush, and then he gently took her eyes and began to kiss back. Naruto turned away, knowing that they deserved their private time, so he sat there and pulled the scroll he had been working on out of his pocket along with his pencil, and began to work some more. Naruto soon decided that he had waited long enough back. Naruto had known since they had met that Kiba had a crush on Hinata, and he was glad that both of his friends were in love with each other. And so he sat down next to others' arms, and Naruto continued to work on his scroll until Kakashi showed up an hour later. Kakashi gave a yo, and Naruto nudged Kiba, who gently woke up Hinata. "Your late sensei tardiness is not a good virtue," Naruto said simply, as he struggled to get back up on his feet. Kakashi noticed this, but chose to keep it to himself. He also chose to let Naruto's comments slide by giving the excuse that he got lost on the road of life. Naruto and Kiba simply rolled their eyes, and Hinata giggled. As Kiba and Hinata stood to their feet, their stomachs growled, showing that they were already hungry. When Kakashi looked at Naruto, he could see in his eyes that Naruto defied his orders and ate breakfast. Without a word, Kakashi rushed to Genin, the bridge's surface. "Not listening to your superior's orders is not a good virtue, Naruto. You must learn respect for me if we are to work on the same team, and that means following my orders even if you don't understand them," Kakashi said, simply waiting for the blonde to get back onto his feet, which he did shakily. "Now then, with that aside, today's mission is quite a simple one. All three of you have until noon to each land one solid hit on me, and blocked hits don't count. It has to be full contact, and I would suggest that you aim to kill if you even want to come close. It is now 9 AM, you have 3 hours to each land a hit on me. If you do not manage to land a hit on me, then you will go without lunch, and you will be sent back to the academy in disgrace. Ready? 3, 2, 1, begin," Kakashi shouted out, and all three leapt away to find a good hiding spot. Kakashi scanned the area with his eyes, and discovered to his satisfaction that all 3 genin were very well hidden. Now it was only a matter of one of them gaining the courage to attack. Suddenly, Naruto leapt down from a tree and unsheathed his sword. Kakashi's visible eye widened some with amusement, as he said in a sing-song voice, "A sword without a blade is almost as useless as you are, Naruto-kun." Naruto let out a low grumble and let the fire burn inside of him, as the sword's blade of fire burst to life. Kakashi's eye now widened in a show of shock when he felt the killer intent radiate towards Kakashi, grasping the sword's handle with both hands and swinging it like a heavy blade. Kakashi simply dodged the attacks with the greatest of ease and said, "The fire blade makes no difference to Naruto-kun, it's too heavy," and yet again, the sword continues to prove its uselessness the same as you. Kakashi knew it seemed cruel to say these words to the boy, but he was trying to make the boy angry enough to show him his secret bloodline limit, which he knew nothing about. Naruto let out another angry roar as he sliced at Kakashi's head. Kakashi simply ducked to avoid the hit, but his eyes widened in shock as Naruto turned the blade with one hand and brought it sweeping back, cutting through him completely. Naruto was shocked that he had hit his teacher so easily, but was even more surprised when his sensei disappeared in a puff of smoke. He began to look around frantically in every direction, trying to find his sensei, when a thought hit him. Below was the It was a nice trick, Naruto, trying to make the blade seem heavier than it was to catch me off guard, but your sword handling skills are poor and in serious need of work. However, I am impressed that you managed to destroy my clone. However, you had better figure out how to get out of the ground if you want another chance to hit me." With that being said, Kakashi pulled out an orange book and walked away, leaving a muttering Naruto to his own devices. When Hinata was sure that Kakashi was gone, she rushed out to Naruto and offered to help him out. "And so good, little did he know I was weighed down, but next time I will get a good hit on him." With that being said, Naruto picked up his sword and placed it on its clip. "I have nowhere near your skill, and I can't hit him on my own. Will you help me?" Naruto thought for a moment before saying, "We need to find Kiba, now. Follow me." With that, Naruto entered the bushes with Hinata close on his trail, trying to find their other teammate. Unfortunately for them, Kiba had already rushed out and challenged Kakashi. Kakashi asked lazily, as he continued to read the little orange book in his right hand. Kiba and Akamaru both let out a low growl as they charged at Kakashi. Kakashi just continued to chuckle at his little book, as he used one hand to dodge all of Kiba's and Akamaru's attacks. When Kakashi had had enough, he put his hands in the sign of the tiger and screamed out, "Konoha's most sacred technique, the 1,000 years of pain," and with that, Kakashi stuck his fingers up Kiba's butt and launched him into the air. Akamaru whimpered and ran up to his master. Kakashi began to walk towards his student, but his eyes widened in surprise as Kunai came out of nowhere and stabbed Kiba right in his leg. Kiba let out a scream of pain, and Kakashi looked up to see what appeared to be a grass ninja sitting in the tree twirling another kunai with his right index finger. Kakashi stopped and realized that something wasn't right. He looked at Kiba and immediately noticed that Akamaru was nowhere to be seen. His eyes drooped again as he yelled out, "Release!" which dispelled them, only to find that Kiba, oh, what a guy. Kiba was pissed, and he was letting Hinata and Naruto know it. Hinata chose to defuse the situation by giving Kiba a small kiss on the lips, which immediately calmed him down. "Alright, listen up, Hinata brought this to my attention. Alone, none of us have the skill to hit him. However, if they all work together, they could get him by surprise." Naruto then brought out a scroll he had copied from the library and showed them underground and get right below Kakashi. Then Naruto would take off his weights and keep Kakashi busy by surprising him with a speedy attack. The two were to wait for an opening in Kakashi's defenses, which would be seen by Hinata's eyes, and then they would burst from the ground. Kiba and Hinata agreed and began to burrow them under the ground. Naruto then jumped out from their hiding spot and dispelled the weights on his kimono. "Get ready to lose, Kakashi-sensei." Kakashi was about to respond, but could only widen his eyes as Naruto rushed him with a speed that Kakashi was certain that he didn't have before. Hinata activated her and watched for a lapse in Kakashi's defense. And so, as the fight raged on, Kakashi let one hand slide down a little, which left his upper body vulnerable. Hinata and Kiba burst from the ground. Hinata aimed for Kakashi's stomach, Kiba aimed for Kakashi's chest, and Naruto aimed for Kakashi's chin. All three fists connected and pumped chakra into his feet, which made him stick to the tree. Kakashi smiled at the three exhausted in front of him, and said with a happy voice, "You all pass." Not only did you realize that the point of the exercise was teamwork, but you also came up with, "I am going to take you all to the Ichiraku ramen stand for lunch, but before that, there is something. Those who abandon their teammates are lower than trash. I hope that none of you ever forget that lesson." When they arrived, Ayame ran up to Naruto and gave her usual greeting of a kiss on the cheek. Naruto blushed and said, "Good afternoon, Ayame-kun." She then gave him another quick hug before running back behind the counter and taking their orders. Kakashi glanced at the girl and knew that she had a crush on the young blonde. He smiled at Naruto and knew that it didn't go unnoticed by the boy. When Ayame walked away, Naruto turned to Kakashi and asked, "What are you smiling at me for, Kakashi-sensei?" Kakashi just simply smiled and said something along the lines of him being dense. Kiba let out a hearty laugh with Akamaru, and Hinata giggled in agreement. Naruto scowled because he didn't get what they meant, and so they ate their food in a comfortable silence. When they were done, Kakashi told them that they were to meet at the bridge for their first official mission as Genins of the Leaf. And with that, Kakashi paid the bill and disappeared in a puff of smoke. Soon after Kakashi left, Kiba and Hinata excused themselves to go for a walk, leaving Naruto and Ayame alone in the restaurant. "Where's your father, Ayame-chan?" Naruto asked curiously, noticing that the old man was nowhere to be seen. "Oh, Papa's at home sick, so I'm running the store for him today," Ayame said to Naruto, giving him a sweet smile which soon faded when she looked outside the ramen stand. That counted 8 people to serve, and only one Ayame. She groaned knowing that this was going to be a long day when she turned her head only to watch Naruto jump over the counter. "Naruto-kun, what are you doing?" she asked as she watched him grab a spare apron and a paper hat and put it on his head. "You are going to need help with all these hungry people, and I can't just leave a friend all alone," Naruto said. For the small rush of new ninjas, they all came in, and Ayame took their orders. She then yelled out, "Naruto-kun, 3 orders of miso, 2 orders of chicken, and 3 orders of pork." Naruto shouted back that he was on it, and Ayame smiled at them before preparing their drinks. Everyone looked at each other, puzzled upon hearing Naruto's voice in the back. When Naruto was finished, he brought out the ramen and gave out the orders with a smile until Sasuke snorted and asked, "What's wrong, Dobe? Couldn't hack it as a ninja, so you became a ramen chef?" Naruto just simply smiled at Sasuke and said, "Only the mouth," quickly, and everyone laughed, even Ayame, who was giggling. When everyone was done, they paid their tabs and left Ayame and Naruto alone again. They both worked quickly to pick up the dishes and went into the back to clean them. About halfway through the dishwashing, Ayame slipped on some water and let out a surprised yelp. Naruto rushed forward and caught Ayame, only to slip on the water himself and land on his back with Ayame on top of him. Naruto looked up into Ayame's eyes and suddenly felt a feeling tugging at his heart. He blushed, and Ayame looked down to see the position they were in. She blushed as well and picked herself up, and Naruto did the same. They quietly went back to washing the dishes until they were done. Ayame thanked Naruto for his help, and Naruto surprised her by leaning forward and planting a kiss on Ayame's cheek before telling her that it was his pleasure before running off back towards his home. Boy, did he have some questions for his sister. When Naruto got home, his head was swimming. He let his mind wander back to him with him. He sighed as he walked up the steps and went into his room. He sat on his bed and considered going to Anko, but then he stopped to think. Ever since she had become she had let her unique side come out, and she was a little bit weird. The thought made him momentarily forget about his problems, as he smiled, remembering all the memories he had with Anko. He let his mind wander to his 12th birthday. He was walking back home when he suddenly felt the presence of people following him. He knew that he was in danger because the villagers became the most vicious on this day towards him, because it was also the anniversary. People came out of the alley and blocked the path. He spun around, but saw that he had been surrounded. He looked up to the roofs for a safe place to jump, but saw that some hateful ninjas were prowling along the roofs, daring him to jump up. Naruto could feel himself getting nervous and got ready to unleash his wings. It was then that he felt a presence jumping at him. He got into a defensive stance, but gasped when he saw Anko land in front of him with a kunai in each hand. Anyone who wants to touch him is going to have to try to get through. The villagers screamed out that she had been brainwashed by the demon, but still weren't willing to try and fight her. And so they all grumbled and walked away. After that, Anko walked Naruto home and held a small party for him, just between the two of them. Naruto's thoughts were cut short when he felt cold metal press itself against his throat. Naruto closed his eyes and cursed the fact that he let his guard down in his mind. Come now, little brother, you disappoint me with your lack of attention. Now I know something's on your mind, so don't try to get out of it. Tell me what's up. Anko said, as she pulled her knife away from his neck and put it back in her pouch. She sat next to him and patiently waited for him to begin. Big sis, I have a problem, and I'm not sure exactly what it is or what I am supposed to do about it. You see, there's this girl I see every day, but every time I'm around her, and we get close to each other, I feel my heartbeat quicken, and I feel this tugging in my heart. I get nervous, and I am starting to think that there is something wrong with me. Naruto finished, and looked at his sister with wide eyes, who was trying to hide her giggling with her mouth, which only made her giggle worse. What's so Anko let out a little cough, trying to find the right words to say. First of all, with your body. Anko took a deep breath, and cursed Iruka in her mind for not teaching the kids about these things in the academy. Anko took another deep breath, and thought that telling this kid about growing up was harder than any mission she had ever done. She once again cursed drastic changes. Perhaps the most important, your body is going to begin to grow, especially on your chest and under your arms. Your voice is going to go through an awkward stage. When this is over, your voice will be deeper, and it will be the voice that you have for the rest of your life. Things she was about to talk about. Okay, Naruto, what I am going to tell you next will seem Naruto's ear, and began to explain what his manhood was, and what it did, and what it would do during the stages of puberty. When she pulled back, Naruto had a shocked look on his face, and Anko was feeling very uncomfortable, but knew that the next part would be the hardest, and chose her words to explain sex to her young brother. First of all, Naruto, you need to know that what I am about to explain to you should only be put into practice when you find someone you want to spend the rest of your life with. What I am about to tell you will explain how babies are brought into the world. It all begins when a man and a woman fall in love and decide that they want to have children. All those things I told you about your manhood come into play with sex. The man inserts his manhood into the woman, and will eventually have what is known as an orgasm. During this process, the man will spray out sperm, which will attach itself to the woman's version of sperm, which is eggs. When these two connect together, they form an embryo which will grow into a child in 9 months, and will be born into the world. Anko was fighting as hard as she could not to blush, as she asked Naruto if he understood everything she had told him. Naruto slowly nodded his head, and Anko hugged him gently. Now that the tough stuff is over. Now don't get me wrong, not every girl you may have a crush on will form into love. Love is special, and the girl has to have a crush on you back. However, crush is usually a crush long enough, you will begin to realize that you're in love, and love usually leads to the couple. Naruto nodded his head, and they went to eat. Dinner went normally, and Naruto surprised Anko by giving her a hug before running off to his room. Anko smiled at the boy's antics, and looked over to the calendar on the wall, realizing that his birthday was exactly a week from this day. Anko grinned, and began to plot a party in her mind. Naruto, on the other hand, was too busy thinking about a certain girl while lying on his bed to even bother thinking about his birthday. He smiled, as he thought about taking his sister's advice, and asking her on a date. With the thought in his mind, he closed his eyes, and fell into slumber. Anko walked by, and saw that Naruto had fallen asleep with his clothes on, lights on, and without setting his alarm clock. Anko gave a small chair, and gently removed Naruto's headband, and placed it with his kimono. She did the same with his sandals, and decided that was enough. She turned on his alarm clock, and gave him a kiss on the forehead, and walking out, turning the light out, as she went towards her room. The week went by surprisingly fast. Naruto and his cell completed more D-ranked missions around the town, and Anko was gone on an S-ranked mission by the Hokage. The day before, Neji, as he sat down on his stool. The tone of Naruto's voice didn't go unheard, and Ayam was sitting next to Naruto, asking him what was wrong. Well, it's kinda silly, it's just my sis is on an S-ranked mission, and she isn't going to be home for my birthday, and this will be the first one since we met all those years ago. Truly, Naruto was sad, but he held back his tears, and tried to act like he was strong. Ayam and watched her skip away to go prepare him his favorite miso ramen, and ask her father. When she brought the ramen back out to him, she winked, and told him to be at her house at 3 p.m. table, and called out to Ayam. Hearing his voice, Ayam came out, and asked, "What's up, Naruto-kun?" Naruto looked at her, and felt himself begin to panic. He had planned to ask her out after the birthday party, But now fear was starting to set in. Thanks for deciding to throw me a last-minute party. And that he truly was thankful. Out. But it seemed that it wasn't meant to be, and so she sighed, and went back to work. When Naruto stepped inside of his house, he closed the door, and banged the back of his head against it hard. Stupid Naruto, really stupid Naruto then sighed, and decided to go. Day of the party. Naruto woke up at 9 in the morning, and decided to train in the dojo a little bit had created. Now amongst the ninja who knew him, Naruto had a special talent for coming up with very useful jutsus. Naruto wanted to make sure to get them all down on scrolls so that he could teach them to someone else someday. And so, Naruto went to work on practicing some of his own techniques before deciding to end his training at 12 p.m. He went back to his home, and took a shower. When he got out of the shower, he was using a towel to dry his hair, and walked into his room but naked, only to find Gabriel, Tobias, and another angel he had never seen before who just happened to be a female. Naruto quickly placed the towel where it would cover his manhood, and it made all of the angels laugh, which only caused Naruto to blush more. You humans truly are fickle creatures, we are angels, Naruto could, and began to put on his sandals until Gabriel reached out a hand, and stopped him. Well, Naruto-kun, first of all I would like to introduce you to Alice, she is Tobias's right-hand lady, as it were. Second, we are all here in celebration of your 13th birthday party, and we come bearing gifts. With that being said, Tobias stepped forward, and got to one knee holding out a scroll. To you, Naruto-sama, I present this summoning scroll for phoenixes. All you have to do is bite down on your thumb, and run your blood across the scroll. When this is finished I will show you how to summon in the dojo, but for now, let's finish up giving out the gifts. With that being said, Tobias placed the scroll next to an awestruck Naruto, and stepped back, allowing Alice to step in. To you, Naruto-sama, summon down fire from the heavens to smite your enemies. Be warned though, you can only use this ability once a day, and it shall only activate its power when you infuse it with chakra. Other than that, these boots not only go with your kimono, but they also have the special ability to store chakra. The chakra storage, you can fall from large heights, and land on your feet without doing damage. It's to do a chakra jump which will allow you to jump to heights unreachable with chakra infusion. With that being said, Gabriel placed the boots, and Naruto's feet, and stepped back. Already received 3. Naruto ran to the angels, and hugged them all in a big group hug. When they were finished with the embrace, Alice showed Naruto how to attach the flutes. When Naruto correctly performed the hand seals, he slammed his palms into the was so big that it reached the top of the dojo at full height. Multicolored phoenix appeared. Naruto stared in awe at the majestic bird before flinching when the bird asked, "Who dared to summon me, Seze, son of the King Fukatsu, ruler of all phoenixes?" Naruto gulped before gaining the courage to speak. "I summoned you here, great Seze. My name is Uzumaki Naruto, and I am the sole surviving heir to the Uzumaki bloodline." The phoenix looked down upon the boy, and found that he liked the boy. "Be your ally," and with that the great bird disappeared in a bright flash of light. After it was done, Naruto realized that it was time to head over to Iam's house, and so Gabriel. With that, Naruto ran out the door, already pumping chakra into his new boots, as he ran. Naruto managed to arrive at Iam's house with just a few minutes to spare, and saw that it told him to enter the house. Naruto opened the door, and stepped inside only to find no one there. Naruto furrowed his brow in confusion before walking into the kitchen. Importantly of all, was a smiling Anko. Naruto just stood there with wide eyes in shock, as he heard them all yell out, "Happy 13th birthday, Naruto!" Anko ran up to Naruto, and gave him a hug, whispering to him that she fooled him, but she wanted the party to be a complete surprise. Naruto took a moment to get over his shock and wiped his eyes, trying to look tough. "What's the matter with Naruto? How come It's okay to cry when you're happy, Sasuke. You should try it sometime." Naruto's formal party. Everyone was laughing and enjoying themselves. And eventually cake was served, and everyone got ready to give Naruto their presents. The present giving went something like this. Anko, a pet snake, who would have guessed that? Hina signed with one hand while messing up Naruto's hair with the other. Kiba, a pair of sword user's gloves, white with gold outlining to match his outfit, of course. Kakashi, the newest issue of Come Paradise. After getting beaten up by Anko, Kakashi just decided to be a set of scrolls so he could create new jutsus. When everyone was done, as the party commenced again, Sasuke stood up and made an announcement. "Excuse me everyone, I thought that for a bit of entrainment I would challenge Naruto to another spar. Because this time I don't think Naruto is going to have as much luck as he did the last 2 times. Naruto immediately accepted the challenge, and everyone made room for the two. The rules are simple and held their breath waiting to see what would happen. Sasuke began the fight by charging at Naruto. Naruto ducked low when a punch came from Sasuke, and Naruto hit Sasuke in the chest, and it made Sasuke do a half flip in mid-air. But it was an impressive show of athleticism. Sasuke twisted his body at the last second, and landed on his feet. To hit at Sasuke, Sasuke spun on his heel, and hit Naruto in the head, which sent him flying at the fence. Naruto flipped in midair, and stuck his feet to the fence, which left him vertical. Naruto grinned before flipping off of the fence, and releasing his kimono's weight system. He flexed his arms a bit before starting Sasuke dead in the eyes, and saying, "You're going down." With that, Naruto began to make hand seals, and screamed out, "Phoenix Flare no!" With that, a burst of light shot from Naruto's hand, and hit Sasuke in the eyes. Sasuke screamed, and slammed his palms into his eyes, as Naruto rushed up, and took him down with a sweeping kick. After a few seconds, Sasuke blinked. After that incident was over with, Naruto looked around before spotting Ayame peeking out from the left, smiled slightly, and made his way to her. She walked back further the closer she got, underneath a willow tree, patting the ground gently, telling him to sit next to her. Naruto walked over, and sat down gently, looking at her curiously. "Well, birthday boy, it seems that your birthday party is almost over, and I have yet to give you my present." Naruto was about to ask what his present was when Ayame let one hand run through his hair, as she leaned in, and put her lips on his. Naruto's eyes widened in shock. This was his first kiss, and he had to say that he rather enjoyed the way it felt. Slowly, Naruto closed his eyes, and gently began to kiss back. Ayame decided that he wasn't that good at kissing, and that she would have to correct that little flaw. The thought made her blush, excitement of the moment. Slowly, Ayame let herself lean into his body, and Naruto wrapped his arms around her, cuddling her up gently. Naruto just laid there for a while, holding Ayame in his arms until he realized that she had fallen asleep against him. He watched her chest rise and fall with steady breaths, and allowed his eyes to take in everything she was, and he had to say to himself, she was a beautiful person. Naruto joke. Naruto removed his hand, and just looked at his sensei that he could tell had a big mouth. With that, Kakashi disappeared back to the group most likely. Naruto gently shook Ayame awake, and watched with awe at how cute she was when she woke up. "Naruto-kun, why did you wake me up?" Naruto blushed slightly at the nickname, but whispered to her that she had to get up because he had to go see the Hokage. And so he gently helped her. Naruto simply cleared his throat before putting on the gloves that Kiba gave him, wanting to look his best for the Hokage. Anko told Naruto that she would take the rest of his presents home, and with that, Kakashi, Kiba, Hinata, and Naruto all made their way to the Hokage's office to receive a mission that would change their lives forever. Thanks for watching my video, and make sure to check out the author of this fanfic. Link is in the description. See you next time. Till then, sayonara.